You are Locked On Celtics Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Boston, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, technical difficulties at the start, but we are off and running and ready to have a little fun. Celtics go to Milwaukee. Welcome back, Jaylen Brown. And come back in the second half to beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Tatum and Pritchard both coming up big. Someone want to check in on Doc Rivers? Yeah, me neither. We do welcome you to our latest edition of the Locked On Celtics Postcast. I'm Steve Lennox, longtime play-by-play announcer, currently doing play-by-play for Quinnipiac University men's and women's basketball. Quinnipiac victorious over Harvard on Sunday in women's college basketball. Also former host, national show host on ESPN Radio and satellite radio. You're right where you need to be. You are locked on with the Locked On Celtics Postcast. We are providing reaction to every Celtics game on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, as well as the Locked On Celtics podcast feed, which you know is free and available wherever you get your podcast. With our latest Locked On Celtics Postcast, we're going to discuss the Celtics falling down early against the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't think it's a huge problem, but I'm going to tell you where I am a little bit nervous when it comes to falling down early, because they've done it now over the last couple of games. We do want to hear from you, our everydayers and our first-timers. Join the conversation, watching live on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Hit the comment button. Join the Celtics conversation. If you're with us on the podcast and you want to leave a comment, leave it with me on the X, formerly known as Twitter, at Lennox on Hoops, and we'll use it with the next show as well. This episode of the Locked On Celtics Postcast brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app today. Create your account. Use code LOCKEDON-NBA for $20 off your first purchase. So, Celtics, Wednesday at home against the Warriors. Scored just 5 points in the first quarter. Celtics Friday in the comeback win against the Nets at TD Garden, down 12-0, down 16-2 in the first quarter. Took their first lead in the second half of the game. That first lead came in the fourth quarter. Celtics Sunday in Milwaukee, down 5-0 and down 6-2. Bucks hitting 4 threes and opening up on a 16-2 run. Celtics trail by 10, 40-30 after the first quarter. Giannis, 8 of 10, 19 points in that first quarter. Comments this week, if you don't want to be here, leave Milwaukee. He got off to a great start. Bucks up 10, scored 40 in the first quarter. Second quarter, Celtics down by 11 after the first 24 minutes. Pritchard was strong in the first half, and first NBC Sports Boston reference, Brian Scalabrine said, where would the Celtics be without Payton Pritchard in the first half? Scored 17 in the first half. Tatum had 8 at the half, 2 of 7 overall. Brown, 11 in the first half. Pritchard and Brown, the only two players in double figures in the first 24 minutes. And Giannis was terrific. 27 points, 7 rebounds, 12 of 16. Did he disappear in the second half? Did he not disappear in the second half? Hard to say, because he scored 15 more points in the second half, ended up with 42, his first 40-plus point game of the season. But the Celtics, down by 11, got going, start of the third quarter. 6-0 run right out of the gate. Tatum scored 4, Brown with a basket. All 3 makes, by the way, in that 6-0 run to start, inside of about 10 feet. Celtics extended that run 12-1. Horford knocked down a 3. Celtics' first lead of the game coming at 70-69 in that third quarter. Drew Holiday with a basket. Celtics by 2. White had a block on Giannis, but scamper for the ball. A.J. Green managed to knock down a 3. Bucks on a little bit of a run, up by 4. Celtics then scored 6 in a row. Derek White from the left of the lane, elevating. Celtics up by 2 at that point in the third quarter. And Brian Scalabrine, second Boston Sports, NBC Sports Boston reference. Scal basically said in that third quarter that Bucks look like a different team from the first half. Milwaukee's going in the wrong direction. They really are. I've touched on it a couple of times. Bucks and a couple of other teams digging themselves into deep holes here in the first, 3+ almost month of the regular, not month of the regular season, but first couple of weeks of the regular season. 4:04 to go. In that third quarter, Drew Holiday knocked down a 3. Holiday, I don't like revenge. We've had that recently, Tatum, revenge game against Kerr and the Warriors. I don't like that. But Jrue Holiday going back and his team beating the Bucks in Milwaukee, you'll take that, right? Holiday, his three, gave the Celtics an 81-78 lead. The Celtics at that point in the third got stuck on 81. Portis had a basket, 4 straight for Milwaukee, up by a point, 82-81. Tatum then responded with a three-pointer. Lillard had a 2. And I really thought Lillard, you sort of tie it in together, right? Lillard goes from Portland to Milwaukee. Jrue Holiday is moved on. Celtics pick him up, and they're going to be tied together. But I really thought Lillard and Giannis would be more than what they've been so far. It just seems that way. 8.2 to go in the third quarter. Tatum fouled on a three-point attempt, hit all 3. He had 11 in that third. Giannis 30 through the first 3 quarters. And again, ended up with 42. But the fourth quarter, Celtics, again, getting the job done overall. The Celtics outscored Milwaukee 29-15 in the third quarter and win 113-107. So the Celtics just continue to win games. And now 9-2 through their first 11. Milwaukee falls to 2-8. And what do? Because at this point in time, and they even touched on it, and I heard earlier today, NBA radio on satellite radio, Sirius XM, there was a promo. Does Doc Rivers get let go? I don't know that. I don't think so. I don't think he gets fired. How many coaches are they going to have on the payroll that aren't actually leading the huddle and walking up and down the sideline? But does Doc Rivers decide to go at some point in time? Say, you know what? This didn't work. Probably have another studio job. I don't know if it would be in Bristol, Connecticut or not. Horford, fourth quarter. Great catch in the paint. Hit the shot. Hit the free throw. Celtics up 4. Giannis had a big dunk to make it a 2-point game. Brown attacked. Giannis was there. Queta for the putback. Giannis had a big block on Jaylen Brown in that fourth quarter. Connaughton, terrific player, knocked down a 3 to make it a 1-point game in favor of the Celtics in the fourth quarter. Giannis, a couple of free throws. Queta had a dunk. Jaylen Brown had a nice assist, 8 for Queta at that point. At that point, the Celtics, I think, ended up with 27 assists. They had 24 assists on their first 32 makes. Brown missed on a 3. Pritchard got inside, tie-up situation. How about the situation? As Payton Pritchard is jump ball situation, he's ready to go. And Bobby Portis is called for what was the 3rd delay of game against Milwaukee, so another technical free throw. Tatum had missed one prior in the previous minute or two. Pritchard went to the line, knocked it down. There was a review on a flagrant in that fourth quarter. Brown, Giannis, a freight train into the paint. Flagrant 1 on Jaylen Brown. I didn't think so, but they don't pay me to make those calls and go to the monitor. Scal had it again. Holiday to Tatum. He had a 3. Scal called it a beautiful possession. Celtics up by 5. I believe that was their largest lead of the game. Happened a couple of times in that fourth quarter. Tatum a rebound on a miss. Celtics, again, trailed by 17 in the second, down 11 at the half. Never led at any point in the first half. And then took care of it. 29-15 in the third quarter, up by 3. They had 5 lead changes in that third quarter. The Celtics pick up the win. An impressive win, right? Absolutely an impressive win. Celtics gave up just 38 points in the second half after they gave up 40 in the first quarter alone. So the Celtics, again, pick up a nice win. It's businesslike, right? And bury the teams. We had comments. We're going to hit the comment section in just a moment. If you're part of the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, hit the comment button. We get to them now. I think it was Mike the other day, one of our key contributors here on the Locked On Celtics postcast, saying, is the record not quite there because they haven't played the best teams in the league yet? I don't care. Bucks are supposed to be a better than 500 team. They're supposed to be right now with the Cavaliers, Celtics, and really the Cavaliers and Celtics right now, top of the Eastern Conference. They're not there. Kick them while they're down. No problem. One take. This dude's spitting mistakes. Is that me, one take? 40 in the first quarter. If you got something for me, go ahead. Let me know. I do want to correct it if it's me. One take. Appreciate checking in. Pascal, appreciate checking in. Celtics pick up the win. Bucks had 40 points in the first quarter. Celtics took care of it from the third quarter on. 31 for Tatum. Knocked down 4 threes. Pritchard, another game with 5 or more threes. 5 of 8, 6 of 10. You'll take those percentages every game. He had 18. 17 of his 18 in that first half. And again, Ryan Scalabrine, touched on it in terms of, he was big in that first half. You're down 10 after one, you're down 11 after 2 quarters, and it could have been worse. Down by 17 in that second, and Pritchard kept you in the game with the 3-pointers. And I don't want to say an underrated defender, but he'll get into it. He'll get into the guy with the ball, on-ball defender, when he's in that situation as well. So again, hit us up, Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel with the comments. Some NBA random thoughts coming up in segment number 2 as well. We'll have numbers tonight. We'll get deeper into the box score. 27 assists for the Celtics in the victory. We want to make sure that number was right on. I believe it was 27 assists, 35 made shots, 35 of 86 overall, 40.7 from the field, and knocking down 19 threes and shooting 38% from behind the 3-point line. You take that. You take it and run with it. The Celtics continue to build on the season. And I don't care who's in front of you. You've got it back-to-back coming up next. I want to get into that. Down early against the Nets on Friday, came back in the second half. Down early against the Milwaukee Bucks. Got it to within 3 possessions in that first quarter and ended up being down by 10 in the first quarter. I'm going to say where that sort of makes me a little bit nervous, and it has to do with the upcoming back-to-back Tuesday and Wednesday against Atlanta and Brooklyn. Stay right here. Locked On Celtics postcast talking about the Celtics road win in Milwaukee against the Bucks, who are on the struggle bus. Hey, and our Locked On Celtics postcast today, as we're discussing the Celtics victory against the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee. The Celtics now 2-0 against the Bucks on the season. We are presented by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you pick up a victory. FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Again, that is FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, Celtics pick up the victory in Milwaukee. Down early, pick up the win against, come up with a lot of adjectives to describe Giannis, Doc, and the Milwaukee Bucks right now. But the Celtics, 8-2 with the win. Let's get that right. 9-2 with the win. And Bucks fall to 2-8. And their losses have been brutal. Really. So the Celtics fall down early. I've shown the ability to come back. I don't know that the Celtics have at any point in time pushed the panic button. But Brian Scalabrine made the mention in the third quarter of the Bucks don't look like the same team they were in the first. He made the mention in the third quarter and touched on, Milwaukee just looks like a different team. Did the Celtics come out ultra aggressive at the start of that third quarter? No, they just hit on some shots. And I thought, in a sense, 19 3-pointers, hard to say. They still didn't live and die by the 3, but when they needed to go inside the 3-point line, I mentioned Tatum, first 2 baskets, and Brown a basket, first 6 points of the third quarter. They were all inside 8 to 10 feet. So they showed the ability. Jayson Tatum, again, showed the ability to get to the free throw line. But it's not so much in one game of getting down early and coming back. And when they've gotten down in games, it hasn't like they've pedal to the metal, full court press, anything like that. They've defended better. You may hit threes, and that gets you back in the game, but you still have to defend and get stops on the defensive end. The Celtics have done that when they have fallen down in the first half and come back in the second half. But it's that amount of energy that you expand in those situations. Again, they haven't been pedal to the metal. They haven't hit the panic button. Go back to the Indiana game. But does that perhaps hurt you during this upcoming back-to-back? Or if you have to fall behind. And again, I go back to that Indiana game. Joe Mazzulla never pushed the panic button, and he never raised the white flag in the fourth quarter. So Atlanta, you beat them by 30. I think you just take care of business. Maybe it is a blowout. Early on in the season, Celtics had a couple of games where starters might have been on the floor early fourth quarter, but didn't play major minutes in the final quarter. And even got the lead up to 5 points in that fourth quarter. Once they got it to 5, you didn't think Milwaukee's all of a sudden going to turn this around in the final 2-3 minutes of the game. Because they didn't. Game time might be a thing of the past. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know what's going on with Damian Lillard in Milwaukee. I really did think that would work long before we did this. Traded last year, Celtics won the NBA championship. And this is year 2 of it. And what do you do to put that together? I don't know. But it's interesting that this has not worked for Giannis and Damian Lillard. And Lillard, not that he was completely content with spending his entire career in Portland, but to a certain degree he was. To a certain degree, that's the point. Around the league, some random thoughts with NBA. The subject. Kevin Durant, going to miss a couple of weeks. Suffered a left calf strain. Just talked about the Suns. Did that in the road win against Dallas on Friday. Durant had 26 and 37 minutes. Suns 8-1 start to the season. But I said it on Friday with random thoughts. Not sold on the Phoenix Suns just yet. Now Kevin Durant's going to miss some time. Cavaliers 11-0 to start the season. Beat the Nets 105-100. Nets Friday in Boston, Saturday in Cleveland. Check out the fourth quarter. Cleveland dominated and picking up that win. Now 11-0. Drew Carter mentioned it, and I had this. The Nets were on the back of a back-to-back. They were outscored 35-18 in that fourth quarter. The Cavaliers have 4 more games now before they host the Celtics on November 19th. All winnable games. I don't know that they go into that first meeting of the regular season against the Celtics on the 19th undefeated, but the next 4 games that they have, they're all winnable. And I just want to take a moment here. Just mention Damian Lillard and the Blazers organization. Learned this over the weekend. Longtime Blazers broadcaster Brian Wheeler passing away Friday at the age of 62. Radio voice for the Blazers from 1998 through 2019. Also broadcast for the Kings, Supersonics, and the Bulls as well. So thoughts, prayers out to the Wheeler family. And Brian Wheeler was a terrific broadcaster. Never crossed paths with him, but thinking of his family in this time and the organizations that he worked for as well. Let's hit the comment button here. Accidental migrant. Hey, man, great comeback win. Absolutely. Yeah, it is. Because, again, it's against a team that is just down right now. And you want Milwaukee right there. Don't let them breathe. And I've said it a couple of times, let's see the Hornets the next time they play the Celtics. Let's see the Nets the next time they play the Celtics. Where are the Bucks going to be in a couple of weeks? Where are the Bucks going to be at Thanksgiving and then at Christmas? Because right now, national media, Milwaukee is right there in terms of one of the top subjects to cover in the NBA and what's going on with the Bucks in Milwaukee. Coaching changes, Damian Lillard, Giannis extending and committing to Milwaukee, and now you're thinking, this is not working. It's just not working. Accidental migrant, appreciate the positive words. We're still building, and we're doing it with you. So we do appreciate it. We're continuing to build this, throwing some stuff at the wall. Going to talk with the bosses at Locked On about an idea that I've had. Might be able to execute that in the coming weeks. But we're here with you. John Corrales still has Locked On Celtics. We're with you after each and every Celtics game throughout the regular season and a deep playoff run, April, May, into June, and perhaps a second straight NBA title. So we'll be with you. And we're looking to change things up every once in a while as well. And dare I say, more audience participation. We'll see how that plays out, but we're certainly going to try it. Going to get into the box score. Again, Tatum, Pritchard, 2 leading scorers of the Celtics, pick up the win, 2-0 against the Bucks so far on the season. And our Locked On Celtics postcast presented by Game Time. You are familiar with Game Time. Game Time picks, able to filter out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you do not have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. The first edition of the tournament, Choque de Gigantes, taking place at Lone Depot Park from November 8th through the 10th, and that is wrapping up here today. So it's featuring the top teams from Venezuela, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican Republic. Game Time is able to offer you curated deals to make it easier to find the best prices on great seats for your event. Not just sporting events. Super deal, seat views. With seat views from Game Time, you're able to buy. Before you buy, you're able to take a look at where your seat is located in the venue as well. Lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, and job loss protection. Also some of the perks that you get with Game Time. You get the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time is going to credit your account 110% of the difference. You can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time picks. Download the Game Time app today. Create your account. Use code LOCKEDON NBA and Locked On Celtics postcast for $20 off your first purchase. Again, terms to apply. Again, create your account. Locked On Celtics postcast, $20 off. Game Time app. Download it today. What time is it? It is Game Time. Hit the comments here before we get into the box score. Antonio checking in with the Shamrock and the Heart. Thanks, Antonio. Okay, just looking at a couple comments there. Accidental Tourist. Honestly, there isn't a big enough sample size for media, you guys, yeah, I'm one of those guys, to make a fair analysis of the Cavaliers' 11-0 start. Might not mean anything in 2 months. That's fair to say. Bernard checking in. Pritchard kept them afloat. That's what Scalabrini said on NBC Sports Boston. Appreciate that, Bernard. Love the way he's elevated his game this year. That's one of the biggest things with NBA guys that I can appreciate is the fact that, when guys come back for year 2, year 3, or, just over the course of their first 4 or 5 years in the NBA, they get better. Pritchard is not just a stand on the three-point line, wait for the ball, and put it up. He can put it on the floor. He can finish inside. He's backed down defenders on a couple of occasions this year so far, and then, has that little fadeaway. I was on social media the other day. Got inside the free throw line, created some space, fade away, knocked it down. He's able to do a lot of different things. And I think, was it Joe Mazzulla? I meant to write it down and I didn't. I was actually thinking about it earlier today. It might have been on Payton Pritchard. He can score at all 3 levels. He can score inside on occasion. He's going to get the ball swatted every once in a while by big, absolutely. But we know he can knock down threes, 5 more on Sunday. And he can put the ball on the floor, create a little space. I love when he's on the three-point line, the defender's coming out on him, takes a dribble to his left or right, puts it up, and is able to hit that shot. So, yeah, he's improved his game. Kudos to him over the course of his career. Now, every sport is a game of adjustments. And I've said it before. How do they start getting Payton Pritchard out of his comfort zone? Because right now, 11 games into the season? He's right there. He's in a comfortable spot on the floor, gaining confidence with each game. And just part of it, right? His teammates expect it. And we touched on it Friday with the Nets comeback win for the Celtics. And it was part of the post game as well. And we touched on it here on the Locked On Celtics postcast. How much just freedom and how much Jayson Tatum trusts his teammates. It doesn't matter. And they touched on it in the postgame. I was glad because we touched on it here. He'll give guys opportunities. Second defender comes, gets the penetration, the drive in the dish. We've seen it with Jordan Walsh. We've seen it with Horford. We've seen it. He's going to give guys opportunities. It's not just Jayson Tatum ends up with the basketball. You already know this. It's not that Jayson Tatum just gets the basketball and it's going up. No, his teammates are involved. Love that. Absolutely love it. We're getting to the box score here because there are a couple of numbers I wanted to look up. Again, Celtics down by double figures, down by 17 in the second quarter, 29-15 advantage in the third, and then 26-23 advantage against the Bucks in the fourth quarter. Giannis ended up with 42. I mentioned it, his first 40-plus point game of the season. But where was everyone else? He can't do it by himself, and he had comments. And the way they came out seemed like they were responding to his comments this week, basically telling the media, you don't want to be here, find somewhere else to go. You know, Connaughton, decent role player. Limited, I don't know. But Damian Lillard, Drew Holiday, defended well. Lillard was just 4 of 14 overall and 1 of 8 from behind the three-point line. As always, gets to the line, was 5 of 5, had 14 points. They had 4 players in double figures. But Andre Jackson, 0 for 3, 1 point in a starting role. AJ Green, player, 4 threes, knocked down 12 points. Had Bobby Portis Jr., 6 of 12 off the bench, had 15. But Giannis needs help. Brook Lopez is still playing basketball, 6 points over 28-plus minutes, almost 29. But the Celtics, 4 starters, 5 players in double figures. Queta did a nice job rebounding. Didn't end up with a block shot. But Queta off the bench, 8 and 7. You'll take that. Give him 6 shots. Let him go 50% from the field. I'd like to see him, and I think his field goal percentage will get better as he gains more confidence and trust in himself. But he can be 55% or better from the field. That's awfully good. Hauser, back home, 1 of 5 on the three-point line, back home in Wisconsin. But Tatum, 7 of 21 overall, 4 threes. And the Celtics knocked down 19 threes total in the win. Bench gets outscored a lot of nights, but they're just productive. They just hit the shots in big moments. I said 5, largest lead for the Celtics in Sunday's comeback win, 7. That in the fourth quarter. They trailed by 17. 7 lead changes, 8 ties during the course of the game. And again, you got to love the number. 27 assists. What's next, you may be asking? Milwaukee, I'm telling you, the Bucks, they got some problems right there. They really do. Because you're not firing the head coach. You got too much money on the books just in terms of former coaches now. Back-to-back. Let's see how Atlanta goes. I'm really looking forward to Wednesday's game in Brooklyn. I really am. Because the Nets competed for 3 quarters. I didn't watch most of the game, but I was paying attention to the scoreboard, reading some stories afterwards. They competed against the Cavaliers. You have to play 4 quarters. Jumped down to a big lead. I'm curious to see how the Nets play on Wednesday. Return matchup against the Celtics, and the first time against the Celtics on their home floor at Barclays Center in Brooklyn on Wednesday night. But first, Atlanta. Won by 30 already against the Hawks. That was, feels like 2 weeks ago, but it was just last Monday. And then the Celtics and Nets in Brooklyn Wednesday night. So Tuesday, Wednesday, second of 3 back-to-backs in the month of November for the Celtics, but you have to like where the team is right now. 2 losses. 1 on the road in overtime, 1 at home against the Golden State Warriors, who absolutely got housed the next night against the Cavaliers, right? Accidental tourists. The Nets are a good team. They are. Not scary good, but could surprise everybody. Yeah, it's one of those teams that's going to get better during the course of a season. You think that's going to happen. That's what a lot of teams are right now in the NBA, get better. But they're a couple of games under 500 now, and they go from there. Hey, that is it for us. As always, we do thank you. Tip of the cap to everyone participating with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Also, a tip of the cap to everyone who checks us out on the podcast, which, of course, is available wherever you get your podcast. Also, tip of the cap, acknowledging our sponsors, FanDuel and Game Time. As always, we like to remind you we go on live within minutes of the last and the final buzzer with each and every Celtics game this season with our latest Locked On Celtics postcast. Locked On Sports Boston, number 1 place to hang out immediately after every game. Locked On Sports, your team, your Celtics every day.